When buyers walk into a home, they don't just look at the price and decide whether it makes sense. They go through a process, sometimes consciously, sometimes subconsciously, to determine what they believe that home is worth. And that process can be very different from how sellers think about value. So today, I want to walk you through how buyers actually decide what a home is worth, because understanding this can make a big difference when you're preparing to sell. One of the very first things buyers do is compare. Most buyers are not looking at just one home. They're looking at multiple properties in the same price range, often in the same area. So when they walk into a home, they're immediately asking themselves, how does this compare to the other homes I've seen? They're thinking about size, layout, condition, and overall feel. Even if they don't say it out loud, they're constantly ranking properties in their mind. Another factor buyers consider is condition. Two homes with similar square footage can feel very different depending on how they are presented. If one home feels clean, updated, and well-maintained, and another feels outdated or requires work, buyers will assign different values to those properties. Even small details can influence this. Things like paint, lighting, and overall maintenance can change how buyers perceive value. Buyers also think about future cost. As they walk through a home, they're not just seeing what's there, they're also thinking about what they may need to change. If a kitchen feels outdated, they may start estimating the cost of updating it. If there are visible repairs, they may factor those into their decision as well, start adding things up. This process often happens quickly, and those mental calculations can directly affect what they're willing to offer. Another important factor is how the home makes them feel. Real estate is not purely logical, it is emotional. Buyers imagine their life in that space. They picture where their furniture will go, how they'll use each room, and how the home fits into their daily routine. If a home feels comfortable and inviting, buyers tend to respond more positively. If it feels off in some way, even if they can't explain it, they may lose interest. Buyers also pay attention to how a home fits within the current market. They're aware of what other homes are selling for. They're watching price changes constantly. And many are working with agents who help them interpret the market. So when they evaluate a home, they're not doing it in isolation. They're placing it within context of everything else available. Ultimately, buyers are combining all of these factors: comparison, condition, future cost, emotional connection, and market context. And from that, they form an opinion of value. That opinion may or may not match the asking price. One thing I always tell sellers is this: buyers don't evaluate a home based on what the seller wants or expects. They evaluate it based on what they've seen, what they're comparing it to, and how the home makes them feel. So if a seller is pricing their home based only on what they hope to get, without considering how buyers are interpreting the property, there can be a disconnect. And that's often where homes sit on the market longer than expected. When sellers understand how buyers think, they can position the home more effectively from the very beginning. And that alignment is what helps create stronger interest and better outcomes. Another thing that's important to understand is that not every buyer sees value the same way. Two buyers can walk into the exact same home and walk away with completely different opinions about what it's worth. One buyer may walk in and see potential. They might feel excited about the space, the layout, or the location, and they're willing to pay more because they connect with it. Another buyer may walk into that same home and immediately focus on what needs to be changed. They might notice outdated features, repairs, or things that don't match their preferences. And instead of seeing potential, they start calculating costs. Those two perspectives can lead to very different offers or no offer at all. This is why presentation and positioning matter so much, because the way a home is presented can influence which type of buyer shows up and how they interpret what they see. Understanding how buyers think about value can help sellers approach the process more strategically. Because pricing a home isn't just about what the seller wants, it's about how buyers interpret what they see And when those two perspectives align, that's when homes tend to sell more smoothly. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.